You didn't even wash your hands. Hey, I'm Austin.
And I'm Ryan. And this is the Spring Chat,
where we talk all things Disney.
resorts,
Shopping. Food. You can catch us at 8:30 on Thursday nights on
Facebook, YouTube.
Twitch, and now Spotify on Amplified Network.
Thanks for joining us here at the Amplified Network. Your show will begin in just a few minutes, but first I want to go on ahead and shout out to our awesome sponsors. First, we have the Mouse Merch Box. It is an official Disney subscription box. It is $60 quarterly if you subscribe, or $70 per box. It's going to come with $120 to $150 worth of exclusive Disney apparel and merchandise, so definitely check that out. If you do decide that you want to check them out, we do have a coupon code for you. Coupon code is going to be Springs20 for 20% off of your order. Next, we have the Great Adventure Supply Company. Great Adventure Supply Company is really cool. They have a bunch of 80s and 90s themed pop culture themed Disney and theme park apparel. So if you're like me, you miss the 90s, you love that style. They recently released some new exciting additions to their store. Be sure to check them out. And we also have a coupon code for the Great Adventure Supply Company that's going to be Magic15 for 15% off of your order. So thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you and our sponsors. So stay tuned here on the Amplified Network. Your show will be coming up soon.
What?
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are we doing today? My name is Amp. I love it when last minute we're going live, so it's great stuff. My name is Amp. I'm your host for the evening, along with your other host, T-Dub Tyler Williams. What's up, T-Dub?
Yo. Yeah, baby, we live. We in the house today. Man, I'm excited about our topics. Obviously, we kind of caught us going through them. So, Amp's waving his hand. I don't know what's going on there.
Lean your head, lean your head to your right.
How about lean? No, not gonna do that. Anyways, excited about our topics. Excited to be here with 60 Minutes Suspension. It's gonna be a fun night. Amp and I break down a lot of cool things and maybe some reoccurring things that might just run along as a topic in life. And it's just gonna be something that's going to be a part of us forever. So we're probably going to talk about it a lot. You'll hear about it probably first thing here. Go ahead, Amp.
Yeah, like Tyler said, no more needing to explain that one. So diving right in, we have 3 or 4 good stories for you today. Hopefully we can reach all of them, because the title of today's story is also, or of today's show is also our feel good story, which we do at the end. So this is going to be a fun story that I can't wait to get to, but we got to get through all these other ones to get there. So away we go. 3 Connecticut female athletes file federal discrimination complaints over transgender competition. Tyler dropped this to me this week, and the article was written on June 19th, so this was literally last week. The complaint was filed Monday, so I'm assuming this was last Monday, with the U.S. Education Department Office for Civil Rights. It was dropped by a Christian law firm, Alliance Defending Freedom, on behalf of the girls who sent in the complaints. Now, to be fair, these 3 girls are high school athletes. These are not college or adult athletes. So some of the information is going to be, what do they call it? Decanted? I forget what redacted. Thank you. It's going to be redacted words. Redacted because they're underage, so we won't be able to see all of the information for them. But essentially what it is these 3 female athletes are basically saying that they want a competitive, level playing field. The girls deserve to compete on a level playing field, said the Christina Holcomb. She's a legal counsel for these girls. And she continues on, women fought long and hard to earn the equal athletic opportunities that Title IV provides, allowing boys to compete in girls' sports reverses nearly 50 years of advances. Wow, I can't speak today. Basically, it's title. No, that's title.
It's Title IX is the name of it. So they're citing that in the lawsuit as well. Yeah, these girls are pretty much saying, they're missing out on opportunities to break their own records. They're missing out on some of them are citing like scholarship opportunities. They're losing scholarship opportunities to colleges to run track and field. That kind of
never mind. I'm not using the mic. That's why. That's why we don't have volume. Amp's not using the mic. Only Amp. Wow. Anyways, continuing.
Yeah. So basically, we're talking about if you guys have been with us for a little bit, we're talking about the 3 Connecticut girls who filed a lawsuit against the public education of Connecticut. And they're pretty much citing that the transgender girls are not making it an equal playing field, and they're losing a lot of opportunities due to just an uneven playing field. Such as they're saying they lose scholarships, they're saying they lose opportunities to win championships, and most of all, they don't get an opportunity to see Tyrion here with us right now.
Yeah,
because they're in Connecticut, not because of anybody who's transgender.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, there's only 3 other states that do this equal fairness thing. So, like, basically, as long as whatever your birth certificate says, that's what you compete in, is what 3 other states allow you to do. But everyone else, I don't think transgenders are allowed to compete, past that. So it's very interesting, this situation. To take away from it, I mean, we did our transgender episode not too long ago, and I mean, we kind of came to the consensus that, that as long as there are female competing in female, athletics, that, maybe they take some type of supplement or something to kind of counteract the full testosterone, to make it a level playing field. But I mean,
that is usually a thing that at least the Olympics is doing, but the Olympics are doing it to a level to the point to where it doesn't even matter. They like it just lowers it to like a point of like maybe down to 10 nanomannals or whatever that word was when we talked about the show before of testosterone, but Connecticut does not require that. So these transgender girls can freely run I believe without any kind of testosterone reducer or anything. And I don't really think it's right to have to put a young person through testosterone reducers, at that young of age anyway, based off of what the public schools determine as well, so that's a whole nother issue. So, man,
it's interesting because someone quoted here, and I'm sorry, I can't tell who made this quote, but they said, "We all know the outcome of the race before it even starts. It's demoralizing. I fully support and am happy for these athletes for being true to themselves. They should have the rights to express themselves in school, but athletics have always had extra rules to keep the competition fair." Two transgender female athletes who've been competing in high school track competition were named in the suit, Terry Mills and Andrea Yearwood, and both have won state titles in various events. So, this is that's a really interesting quote because it makes a lot of sense. If a woman who's openly transgender, you kind of already assume she's gonna win. I mean, and we're not just making that off, because she's a transgender. I mean, you can see it in the body statures. You can see it in the body muscle mass. I mean, it's night and day, man. It's really, for track and field, if we're just being honest with track and field, I mean, track and field, I think it's a huge advantage to be transgender in a female competitive environment. And I mean, I think you and I did say, maybe there should be a transgender, separate, league or whatever. But with that being said, you're basically creating diversity. So
I know. Yeah, that's what we said before. We pretty much thought about it for a second, and we were like, well, you can't do it because it's doing the opposite of what the goal is.
So,
you know what I mean?
So what do we say here, man? Do we just wash our hands and just say it is what it is? I mean, is that all you can do? Because, if you tell a transgender athlete who's a female, hey, your testosterone levels are too high, you're gonna have to take these pills to lower it, or you're gonna have to take this medicine to lower it. I mean, how do they track how much lower it takes? Because maybe it takes it too low, or maybe it takes it too far, or maybe it doesn't take it far enough. I mean, I don't think the science is there yet. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But,
yeah, I mean,
dude, this is a really touchy subject. I mean, pretty soon, and it is what it is. I have to say it like that because pretty soon we're going to see the Olympics littered with just transgender sprinters and runners. I mean,
right. I mean,
that's essentially what it's going to be. It's no longer going to be a female competition. It's going to be a transgender competition.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest fear is for women's record books to be rewritten, and for women to not feel represented is all I feel for that. That's my biggest fear in the whole thing. As far as the Olympics go, I think the Olympics can do what they want. It's a worldwide view. I'm sure there's a lot of places that view the same as we do. So I don't know. I've even seen. Okay, this is getting hella spiritual, but I've even seen some Native American tribes considered the best. Thought there was five genders, and they thought the most. The person who was a gift from God was the person who could see multiple genders. So this is super spiritual and has really nothing to do with sports, but a lot of people have that sort of mentality to apply to life and to sports, and they don't feel like they should be boxed into a gender and into who they compete with. I would like to see, okay, you want to be transgender, represent girls. That girls always want to compete against guys, constantly. Do it for the girls, compete against the guys. You know what
That's
I mean?
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I would love to see, a transgender athlete make her way into football, and that's how female athletes break into football,
Right.
I wouldn't mind seeing a female
set a pathway. Set a pathway for someone like Caster, Semenya, Set a pathway for somebody like her who can maybe step in and compete against men Who's to say she can't finish first against men? Sometimes numbers, but you can't really measure heart. I know that's a cliche type saying, but you just can't really measure that in a person. So it's hard to rule people out, especially someone like Caster. So maybe somebody could set up. Maybe one of these transgender girls could set a path into men's sports so that women can find a way to compete. And maybe there aren't a lot of women who are recognized for their athletic ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Women's sports isn't that popular. There's 50.9% of America are women. And 49.1% is male, and but women's sports is so drastically unpopular, and that's just not because of fandom. That's because of participation in itself. But if more women participate, I bet there's a ton of athletic women out there, and maybe a transgender person can blaze the trail, like you were saying a minute ago, for them into men's sports. That'd be cool one day, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, that'd be really awesome. And I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, I would hope to see something like that happen. There's someone who considers himself a female or sees themselves as a female, but is of transgender origin, and just see them excel in a men's sport, or even just try it. Like, you don't have to be a tackler or anything. Just be a kicker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do something where you kind of, pave the way a little bit. Maybe try out, even be a quarterback, you scare those guys into not hitting you, whatever. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Miguel chimes in. He says, Caitlyn Jenner once won Woman of the Year. And then he says, so a man is better at being a woman than a woman? So, I mean, yeah, that's one way of looking at it, I guess. I do want to add in this one quote. One of the fathers of the girls that are putting in this lawsuit, he says this, and I quote, "As a human being, not as Andrea's father, it's disappointing that in 2019 we're still debating who gets to participate and who doesn't." He added, "You would hope we'd gotten to a place in 300 plus years as a country that we're not debating who should be included and who should not be. There is no place for exclusion." Oh, I'm sorry. No, he's the father of one of the transgenders. I'm sorry. He's a father of one of the transgender fathers.
I was going to say he sounded like really supportive.
Yeah. I mean,
so who?
And I gotta say, and I'll take the vilified, heart to the dagger here, but you made a really good point. We might be missing history of women set standards, or history record making women who made records in all these events who were strictly just women. We might be seeing all of that go away, like you said. And to me, what if one day they do change it? Does that mean that all those records that were replaced by transgender women, does that mean that those are null and void? You know what I mean? There's just so many lines here that are unanswered, and the higher ups aren't answering these questions. And I don't know, man. I don't think this is a problem. I do think it is an issue that needs to be talked about more often. And
right.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's very interesting because, unfortunately, you don't see a transgender male athlete being an issue as much as it is for the women department. You know what I mean? And, that's just an issue that we're going to have to kind of... Yeah, I am saying transgender athletes. Transgender athletes. I keep saying transgender athletes. So, anyways... Yeah, so anyways, totally threw me off. Let's move on. That was a good topic. You got any last words on that?
What do you think the court's going to rule? What do you think is going to be the end verdict in this? And like you said, we're already seeing record books be rewritten in Connecticut. So, what do we think about that? But what do you think the court's going to say about this? Who do you think they're going to rule in favor of? This is a civil rights situation. It's a big deal.
Man,
You know
that
what I
is
mean?
a great question. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, wow. I don't know. I mean, I don't think those athletes are looking for any monetary, reward. They're just trying to fix a problem. And that's the other issue. Can you call being a transgender athlete a problem? Like, you can't state it that way. You can't state it,
Right.
they're infringing on the women's athletes, so they're a problem for athletics. So you can't say that either. I'm telling you, literally, the best thing you can do is wash your hands of it. Like, there's nothing you can do
What
in
do
the
you
sense. Like, there's no
Oh.
right answer to this whole topic. Like in the courts, someone's gonna fall on the sword. Someone's going to lose. Obviously, that's what courts do. There's a winner and a loser, and whoever the loser is, they're gonna cry wolf. They're gonna keep debating this, and they're going to go to different courts, and this is going to be an endless cycle. It's absolutely incredible. Like, so Miguel chimes in. He says, if there is no room for exclusion, there would be no division in the first place. And that's right. I mean, and Miguel's right in that sense, because like in soccer and any other sport and any league, there are divisions. There are separate entities of the same sport, because they know that not everyone is at the same level of competition, both physically, age-wise. So that would be like a maturity thing. He
Right.
makes a lot.
Why not?
That makes a lot of sense.
Why not? Why not just let that's what I was kind of alluding to last time we talked to this. Why not put everybody on the same playing field?
I mean, yeah, Miguel said it'd be best if no women's league would exist. I think he's meaning in the sense of like everyone be on the same playing field. So you just kind of take the best of everybody and just throw them in their own league.
I was kind of alluding to it last week, but I was like, or last time we talked about this, but I didn't want to absolutely like commit to that. But then, even if there's no division between anybody, what, then it's just, it's just going to be, it's just good. It'll be just a tier of natural. It's almost like natural selection.
Dungeon Seeker chimes in, and they say, I feel like in high school it should be acceptable. Professional athletes will take longer to figure out. I mean, that's, and that's what I mean. That there's going to be two sides of this coin. And for people who...
That sucks, though. That sucks that I don't know about that, though, because, like, high school are the years that you... Like, most people, that's the only shot that people get to have... To be their best athlete, to be the best team they could be, to be all that stuff. I guess we're really talking about individual sports as far as track and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, even soccer.
Team sports.
Well, even team sports, same thing,
But team sports you can easily mold together. I guess, but...
I
anyway,
understand where you're trying to get at. I mean, where I'm coming from, it's like I want a transgender athlete to be able to compete in these divisions. I would love to see that, but to be totally understandable, they do understand that when they go in, they have a competitive advantage, right? Like, they do understand that they have this biological advantage in the sense of they're stronger, they're faster, they're bigger than women. So if they consider themselves when they were born, if they were a female gender and they go into a competition of that nature, they understand they have this advantage. So their training periods are maybe shorter. Their regiments may be different than what a female. And then if a female who isn't of transgender, she's just a regular female athlete, she understands that, man, like, there's scouts at this event, and I have to race against a transgender woman who biologically is going to be stronger and faster than me, no matter how long and how hard I train for this. And that's your point that you're making, and I'm right with you, and I don't understand how you fix that issue.
But maybe do you think it's a possibility these girls are psyching themselves out before facing these, transgender athletes? Like, they're just like getting in their own head and therefore not being the best athlete they could be. I'd be curious to see their times, racing other girls compared to their individual times racing transgender girls.
What do you mean?
And see what the difference is.
Oh, like a female athlete competing with other.
Versus, like if they, when they just competed against when they just competed against straight cisgender female, it was just like all 8 lanes of girls competing were natural born girls. Maybe what if they ran better all those like 6 times, and then these 2 times they faced races against transgender, and they just had their worst race of their life.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not the transgender's fault. Maybe they're just getting psyched out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it.
It's just a thought that would.
That's one way of looking at it. Dungeon Seeker chimes in again, and they say, but in this case, they're still kids. Scouts will understand this. I mean, scouts are there to get the best athlete possible. So,
and these girls are saying they're missing out.
Yeah, I mean, they're physically. That's the reason why they're saying that they're signing this lawsuit is because they don't have the opportunities for the division that they're only in because they're stuck in that division. That's one way of looking at it as well. Transgender athletes technically have the ability to pick a division that they want to compete in, and unfortunately, the women's division is the lower of the male and female. So, I mean, if I can compete in both divisions, but I can make a full ride scholarship out of a women's division or pay tuition out of a male division, I'm sorry, I'm going to compete in the female division so I can go to school.
Right, but are there scholars? I believe there's transgender female some that compete on the NCAA level. Are there? I mean, I don't know that for a fact. So, is it all for naught? Are they really even taking scholarships from these girls? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because are there scholarships available for them? Are they allowed to have the? I don't know that. This is a legit question. I don't know if you know. I don't know if anybody watching knows. I don't know if anybody knows.
The only athletes that I know of are the Olympic runners that are openly now from a college perspective. I don't know if they go to college or where they go to college. I don't know their backstory on that, so I don't know how to answer that one. So
because if you have a time and you're being tracked, as a runner, you have all your stats, all your times, all of that for the season lined up. They're on record. If you're losing out, it's probably on you. It's not probably on these transgender girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
because if you're not being watched after your times, that's. I mean, just because you're getting beat, like you said a minute ago, the scouts still know what good is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They still know what fast is,
Yeah.
and if you can, I just don't see these girls taking scholarships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do we know these girls received any scholarships?
Well, to be fair, all these. I guess all the litigation it's coming from one school. So you have to imagine that not all of those girls, even if the transgender athletes, I caught myself on that one. Transgender athletes are competing in their division. Those 3 girls that are filing this lawsuit, not all of them would have gotten a scholarship if those transgender athletes still were not there. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't.
That makes sense.
You don't get a lot of schools with like multiple athletes.
Oh, is it so this is a school scholarship, like a high school scholarship. Oh, I took it as college scholarship.
No. Well, they're competing for college scholarships. Like that's where their argument is coming from. They're all high school students.
Right. Okay.
They're all high school students. But my point being, like you and I, we were in high school sports, so we understand how the scouting process works. Scouts don't typically take a lot of athletes from the same team. If that makes sense, if you can kind of put the pieces together in that glue that I just threw at you, and when it comes to like track and field, that's even tougher than football and soccer. Like what Tyler was saying with, you can kind of hide your skills in a team setting, and maybe sneak out a scholarship if you're a pretty above average player. But in track and field, like what Tyler was saying, everything's on record. So. Mm-hmm. You might have won 2 or 3 races, but what about those races where the transgender athletes weren't actually in those races? What's your excuse then? So,
right.
Really good points there. Dragon Seeker chimes in real quick. If a trans girl beats a cis girl, the scouts won't be oblivious to it. They still recruit who they want. But right now, realistically, I feel like most scouts would still pick the cis girl over the transgender girl. So, interesting comments there.
Yeah, I would believe so. Does he know? I wonder. Tell him to chime in, no matter if we move on to a different subject here in a second or not. But tell us. I wonder if he knows. Are there transgender athletes in the NCAA?
I don't believe
And
they.
Are there scholarships available?
I don't believe they do.
You don't
I
believe so?
don't believe they do because that he
So,
that
so
that,
what's the point? What are we suing for?
yeah.
Your little record books. You can go to college and make records.
I mean, they're basically suing
know?
because they're losing. That's
So, yeah.
that's really why they're suing. You know.
So do you think? So do you think this is maybe backed by somebody's father, like somebody's pissed off dad?
Yeah. Well,
you know?
right off the bat, I can tell you it's from a private school because the lawyer is from a Christian academy school. Anything that has Christian academy in it is automatically a private school. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just.
And you better do it by the
So
book.
yeah, the good Lord book or whatever. So, anyways, Mikkel chimes in. If a competition includes transgender athletes, they should be asterisked for now at least. Ooh,
I was thinking that. I was thinking that as well. But
then
like I didn't
again-
want. But you put asterisks. You put asterisks with people like Barry Bonds,
Yeah.
who have a history of PEDs. You don't want to. I don't want to vilify these
Exactly.
girls. You know what I mean?
So, anyways, let's
So-
move on because, like I said, we got a couple stories, and I really want to get to the last one. All right, so again, if we get updates on that story, we'll let you guys know. But we're moving on. So, Tyler and I are both originally from Jacksonville, Florida, and we are really big fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And
That's right. Duval.
Tyler dropped this little nugget on me earlier today. If you've never heard of Emory University, are they? They're not an Ivy school, are they? They're not an Ivy school, are they?
No,
Ivy
but
League?
I don't believe.
No,
No, they're
no.
not. No, they're not. But they are very. It's a very
Yeah,
prestigious
it's pretty
school.
prestigious.
I think
Yeah.
I believe it's in Atlanta, Georgia. They
Yeah.
have a great med program. They're a great school.
So
they do a lot of stuff.
yeah,
good.
they do some pretty good
They do a lot of
stuff.
stuff good.
So, anyways, this professor over there, Professor Michael Lewis, he wants to determine the league's best fan base through data, not emotion. So he's basically trying to make fanhood out of numbers, is what he's doing. And he claims that there's 3 key variables that would attribute to this situation. And the 3 are fan equity, which is a calculation of how much fans spend, social equity, a calculation of social online engagement by fans, and then road equity, which is the team's turnout for road games. So not home games, but how many of their fans actually travel with them to the other games.
And that I don't get.
Yeah.
Why don't you measure the home equity?
Well,
I
I understand why he doesn't measure the home equity, and I probably wouldn't either, because you have to think of the marketing or the market, the size of the stadium. I think those 2 are the
Well, what
biggest
about-
attributors.
That's part of it. You know what
Well,
I mean? That's just
it's
part
not
of it.
because you have a lot of NFL teams who don't have as big of a stadium as Jacksonville does. I mean, Jacksonville has probably one of the larger stadiums in the league.
Yeah, but you measure it by attendance, not by how many empty seats there are. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like by attendance, we'd be right at the 20 cusp. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think
Which is hella supportive for a team whose has 14 losing seasons
Right.
and out of 25.
I was hoping you were going to
seasons,
save that for later, man. Just drop it right there in the
Oh,
middle.
sorry.
Come on, man.
I
I know you're jacked about this. All right, so
Sorry.
to give you an idea of why Tyler's so angry, and I mean, I'm kind of furious too because I really don't understand how he gets these variables. But basically, this season, 2018-19 season, he ranked the Jacksonville Jaguars 29th out of 32 for fanhood. So to give you context on that,
It's not a laughing matter.
yeah, Mackenzie
I'm
in the background is laughing. To give you context, the Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, and Los Angeles Rams were ranked below the Jaguars, which is even more interesting with that one because the Kansas City Chiefs and the Rams went to the playoffs. They have honestly, like every time I turn on the TV, everyone's talking about him. So that doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense to me, and it's crazy. It's so crazy how they're not doing the home field equity. How are they not doing that? It blows my mind, because think about how, if in that case scenario, if you add home equity just to this little equation that you're paying students, students are gaining debt for at Emory University to run this little equation. All you got to do is add home equity in Kansas City is all the way in top 10, I bet. Seattle is all the way in top 10. I don't know where Seattle sits, but I'm sure they'd be in top 10 if you added in the home equity. Because the fans, it's just nuts. They're known for their home field.
Yeah.
Places, Arrowhead Field has broken the record for noise, or most decibels created by humans, or some shit like that. It's in the Guinness book. Look it up.
It's in the record books.
That fun book you read when you're like in 5th grade.
Yeah, the Guinness Book
Like
of World Records. But no, you're absolutely right with hold on one second. I got a fan here right in my grill. Thanks, buddy. So like I was saying, I think I don't understand the road game turnout either, because if you're basing everything on how much fans are spending and their social online engagement, then why would home or road games be that much of an effect on the situation? Like, I don't understand that, because you have to take into account the geography of every team. So like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are like the low end southeast of all of America. You have a lot of teams on the West Coast, and even Seattle, who's up in the upper northwest coast. And then you have like a lot of teams in the central areas who have a better chance of being able to go to all these different places. Like in the middle, Kansas City has a better chance of going all over the place. You got Tennessee Titans who have a better chance of going all over the place. Indianapolis Colts have a better range of getting to places. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, you have to take in the geographical like range of people. Like, people can't just afford a trip across country to games. Like if
Right.
I'm in the center of the United States, then yeah, it's going to be way easier for me to go back and forth. I mean, any team in Texas has it made, man. Like, literally has it pretty much made. They can fly anywhere they want to, wherever the Texans are going or the Dallas Cowboys are going. Like, oh, sweet, let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's hop on a plane. It's like, what, 5 hours, 3 hours, whatever. For the
I just want to know, has this guy been to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game?
yeah,
Has he been to that game?
I don't know.
Do their fans exist? He's got them 23.
Wow.
They should be dead last. They should be dead last. Dead
Wow.
last, without question. The Raiders, is he counting Las Vegas and Oakland?
Yeah.
Is that how he's doing it? This is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
It's a really
These kids are paying student loans for this, man. They're going to be made fun of for this. They're never going to get a job, ever. Who's going to hire these kids after this?
yeah.
You going to hire them?
No, I'm not. Miguel chimes in. He also says, also technically the entity or the entirety of England is home base for the Jaguars. I mean, you can totally
What
take
the
that
hell?
into account as well. I don't know if he takes that in or not.
But he did it. Damn, good point, Miguel.
Miguel, the Dolphins are not last. We know that for a fact. Tyler, do you have the list in front of you? I don't have it.
Yeah, the Dolphins are sitting pretty at 14.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go, Miguel. The Dolphins have a nice little fan there, sitting at 14.
They just got history and
And so that's the
Dolphins
other thing.
have history.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, which I was going to say. He also references the fact of longevity of the team. So like he's talking about teams that have been in the league for years. I mean, literally decades.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Jaguars are not going to be on that list because they're not even 30 years old yet, I don't think. So I mean, like, of course they can't compete with that. The Houston Texans, I have no idea why they're above the Jaguars because they're younger than the Jaguars. So it doesn't make sense that they would be higher on the list if you're adding longevity into your variables. I I don't know, man. I just don't think you can take this list at fair value. And it's not fair to the students, like you were saying. I mean, what a stupid thing to waste student money on. Like, no offense, this is a dumb thing to waste money on. Like, why is my money being spent towards lists about the NFL and fan base? Like, what? What is this? What does this do? This is literally a list of like saying, hey, my team is liked more. That's it. That's literally all this. That's all it is. This is like a 5-year-old making up a list. Like, that's all this is. And dude.
What also I don't understand, he has, I mean, I guess he has the Chiefs 29, 29, 29 and everything, but their overall is a 31. So I don't know.
Miguel chimes in again. He says the Dolphins' home games sell like 60%. But Miguel, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Like, he's not counting home games. Like, home games is not in the variable of his quote unquote list.
I think Miguel was making more of a point to us. He's like saying, like, yeah, how are the Dolphins 14 and they only sell 60% of their stadium? You know, is what I kind of took. But 60% of the stadium is lame. You know, and no offense to the Dolphins, and they got. I like their stadium. You know, I don't know why. It's just, you know, Miami isn't like the greatest football town at the moment. So,
where are the Panthers at on this list? Packers. What?
The Packers are at.
That's right.
At 6. Packers are 6.
Yeah.
You want the top?
Packers
10?
are at 6.
You want to hear the top 10?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so here we go, coming in at number 10. Before Hurricane Katrina, you probably would have saw them at the 32nd spot, but right now they're sitting at 10, the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
Number 9, this one may shock you at the moment. Coming in hot from the West Coast, brand new Levi's Stadium, San Francisco 49ers.
Wow.
And number 8's a pretty good one. There's a lot of history in this one. The Chicago Bears, Windy City. A lot of history. And I mean, this whole thing is history.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's history.
Top 10 history. So Broncos at number 7. You know, they got a lot of history, obviously. Packers at number 6. Pittsburgh Steelers at number 5. New York Giants, surprisingly. But I was reading in this article, they really cover, like, the
all right,
NYC
Tyler, I'm going to do
Metropolis
something.
League.
Before you finish this list, I'm literally going to explain to you how this list is made up, okay? So go back to number 10.
Okay.
Go back to number 10 real quick.
10, okay.
Who was it?
Ready? Saints.
Saints. Like you said, Katrina, social media, all those blasts on Drew Brees, you can throw that in there. But mostly the Hurricane. All right, number 9.
Number 9 is the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, new stadium, social media, hashtagged all that. Next.
The Bears.
The Bears, I want to say, actually, what did they just do? They just had something happen. Who did they draft? They drafted someone.
Well, they lost the playoffs with the Cody Parker kick.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
The double doink.
The double doink. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Keep going. So 7.
7 is the Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. You can. I don't know about the Denver Broncos. I don't know why they're at 7. I have no idea. John Elway.
They just got.
You can go John Elway.
Yeah. Elway history. They got history. You know, they got history. John Elway mainly, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Bears. The
always
Khalil Mack trade. I totally forgot about that. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Khalil Mack
trade.
I always think about the Simpsons with the Broncos.
No, yeah.
'Cause I remember this episode of
yeah.
The Simpsons where Homer wants an NFL team. He really wants the Cowboys. And so at the end of the season, I think somebody sells him the Denver Broncos. And he was like, I don't want this trash. He goes, Homer Simpson, classic Homer.
So 6 was Packers,
number 6.
right?
Yep.
6 was Packers. And with that one, you can attribute that to not only the longevity of them, but also the Aaron Rodgers drinking beer. That was a hit. That was a big video. That was a huge video. Got a lot of traction for the Packers.
And you got a lot of crap for that too, Aaron Rodgers. Steelers, they have
Antonio Brown?
5 Super Bowls.
They have the Antonio Brown
That's history.
situation. You know, Le'Veon Bell situation was huge. That took up a lot of the social media aspect. All right, number 4.
The Giants.
The Giants, the first overall pick, was a massive ordeal for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Philadelphia Eagles at number 3.
Philly had a really good run. They were the winners. They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. People are still riding on that underdog Super Bowl. I feel like people talk about that Super Bowl more than they talk about the Patriots' past Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People still talk about that. I feel like
social media.
I mean, maybe I just hear it a lot because Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Number 2, the New England Patriots.
New England Patriots. I mean, they're always going to be, but you could, Robert Kraft's situation is in social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a big deal. Everyone's always over Rob Gronkowski. He just retired. That was a big thing on social media. The reason I'm bringing all this, you got one more. Sorry, what was the last one?
Last one is Dallas Cowboys. Also, Liam Murphy says go Jags, and double doink.
Double doink.
I feel like he just wanted to say it.
No, but yeah, and then last one's Dallas Cowboys. They're always going to be a social media situation, always, thanks to Jerry Jones. So, I mean, my point being, this is all social media run. That's all it sounds like to me. I get it. He added, this is such bullshit, man. He calculates how much fans spend. Whatever. Wow. Anyways, we got to move on from this because this is taking way too long.
It's a lame list. I don't think it should be real. I don't think anybody should really take it to heart. I think it's just basically like you were saying, A, numbering franchises based off their history, and also B, their social media presence going on right now. That's pretty much what's going on with
it. I think it's the social media presence more than anything. I mean, yeah, the longevity plays a lot into it, and that's why I'm BSing his variables, because variables are complete BS. So, I mean, I'm taking it off social media and the history of the franchise, and I think that's really all it is, because the Jaguars have never been in social media.
And just the Jaguars fans are so diehard, man. Just like we were saying earlier, and other fan bases like that are like that too. You know what I mean? It's not just the Jags. I'm not just gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's just the Jags that are the best fan base. And no, I mean, everybody has a real solid fan base except for the Tennessee Titans. They suck ass and they eat mayonnaise. But my main point of everything is this. It's just. The Jags definitely aren't the 29th fan base. That's for sure. I know it. You know it. A lot of people know it. The whole nation knows about Duval, and I don't know why. Why? Because the Jags have the best fan base. That's the only reason. That's the only reason they know about Duval, is because we screaming louder than everybody else. So, and we screaming louder so everybody can hear. Man, there's no reason for us to be 29th at all. Zero bit. This is bullshit. Pissed.
Yeah.
We support a losing team all the time. We deserve more credit. Maurice Jones-Drew even said the other day we're the fan base that deserves the most.
Yeah.
Or that deserves a Super Bowl. And he knows because he's played here. He knows what he's been here through the rough years. So this guy's a jackass, whoever put this out. Let these kids do this.
Yeah, so
shame on this professor or whoever he is, doctor or whatever he is.
All right, so moving on real quick, just to give you guys. So this is kind of an interesting update real quick. So the David Ortiz shooting, I don't know if you guys followed it or kind of just moved on from it. But a couple of things have come from this, actually. So basically, David Ortiz, he went into surgery. He's still fine. He's doing great. He's going to be healing for quite a while. But a spokeswoman did not provide. Okay, so multiple people are involved in the shooting. So they don't have the exact number, or they're not releasing it. But I know a couple of people have actually been arrested. David Ortiz. Yeah. Okay. So the first suspect that they do have is a 25-year-old Eddie Feliz Garcia. He has been charged with attempted homicide. Garcia allegedly confessed to playing a role in the shooting and attempted to flee the bar after the shooting, but was stopped and attacked by bystanders. So he's the guy that you see in the video getting beat up. Interesting to note, because I can't find the actual article right now, but from my understanding, David Ortiz was not the target. He was not the man they were looking for. They were actually trying to shoot his entourage, and I believe it was a TV host or something like that they were trying to shoot. So, I don't know. Do you have any more on that one?
No, I don't really have much on that one. I just want to shout out to Big Papi. I'm glad he wasn't the target, but I hope he feels better and I hope he recovers soon.
So,
I guess it's kind of relieving to feel that he's not the target, because there was a whole bunch of rumors running around. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
So if he says he wasn't the target, and if that squashes the rumors, then good for Papi.
Yeah.
And if he's telling the truth, good for Papi.
Right, exactly. So, pretty cool stuff. So, Tyler, I'll let you take over on the MVP story, because I can't pronounce his name.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's the Greek freak, man. Born in Nigeria, moved over to Greece, and just kind of crafted his skill in Greece, and then took it to the USA, straight to Milwaukee. You know, right from Greece to Milwaukee. So natural. It just was such a smooth transition. Giannis is a real humble guy. This guy, really, you could tell he's somebody who worked his butt off and worked and set goals in his life, and had a one-track mind to complete everything he wants to do. And he already set a goal 2 years ago to win the MVP this year, and he did it. He led his team on a winning direction. He led his team to 60-22 record, I think, and that was the best in the NBA. Which is pretty dope considering his cast. I mean, he had some good defensive players, but he had not many offensive scorers and attackers. He averaged I think 27.7 points per game, and 12.5 rebounds. So that's a double-double, and 5.9 assists. But this guy, he was just a hawk. He was like LeBron. He's like LeBron in his prime right now, you know. But the crazy thing about this is Houston's getting kind of upset because they think Harden should have won MVP, and Antetokounmpo beat Harden by 51 first place votes, I think.
Yeah, the actual total is Antetokounmpo had 78 and James Harden had 23.
I told you to say it faster. If you say it faster,
Antetokounmpo.
you'll be no.
Am I not saying it fast?
Try it one more time.
Antetokounmpo.
Try it one more time. Yeah, slow it down. Antetokounmpo.
You still may say it faster.
You're saying, yeah, but just slow it down. In between your Antetokounmpo and then Antetokounmpo, you gotta have a little in between. Let me hear it.
Antetokounmpo. Too slow.
That's much better.
No.
You're up there. You're getting better.
Antetokounmpo.
Anyways, tell us about the voting results.
Well, that was it. Yeah, Antetokounmpo had 78 and James Harden had 23. So. And then there was a third guy in the running, but he didn't even get any votes. So,
yeah, I mean, there was a decent amount.
Oh
of
wait, here we go.
running,
No, here we go. I got the whole list. Paul George, was in it. Stephen Curry, obviously. Yeah. Damian Lillard,
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic. Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
Was in there.
Kawhi Leonard got 13 votes.
Kawhi Leonard. Russell Westbrook, Rudy Gobert, and LeBron James. Gobert. LeBron got one place.
Gobert.
He got 1 5th place vote.
Well, he's injured, so they gotta throw him one. But this awards and so Antetokounmpo, he got up there, man, and he had a great speech. If you haven't watched it, definitely go to YouTube, watch it. While you're at YouTube, check out 60 Minutes Suspension. We're there. We're on Spotify. And we're at a lot of places. Where else are we at?
Facebook, YouTube.
YouTube.
You already said that one. Twitch. Instagram. Twitch. And I just found out we're on Twitter as well. I didn't know we were on Twitter.
Hey, what about? Yeah. So while you're at YouTube checking us out, also check out Giannis Antetokounmpo's speech. It's pretty moving. He talks about his childhood. He talks about his father, who he's been without for a couple of years. It's tear jerking for sure. And he, you can see the humility in the young man. He's only 24 years old, which is great. MVP of the league, 24 years old. That's awesome.
Third youngest player to ever get it.
Yeah, third youngest player to ever get it. I think he deserved it. He said himself, like, MVP is about winning. It's not necessarily about the points and the stats and stuff like that. And he pushed his team to winning more so than any other team other than obviously Kawhi Leonard, which questions me. Why did Kawhi not get many votes?
It's a Canadian thing. I don't know.
Freaking hosers.
Hosers, man.
Hosers,
so, Tyler, here's a trivia question for you, unless you probably already know it. Antetokounmpo is the second Bucks player to win NBA MVP. Who's the first?
Oscar Robinson?
Nope. Wow, I thought you would have known this. Oh, shit. All right, yeah. Here we go.
Hold on, wait. Was it Kevin Garnett?
Nope.
Kevin Garnett didn't play for the Bucks.
Nope.
He played for the Bulls.
Bucks player.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I knew it.
I shouldn't have said nothing
yes.
because you were guessing. That wasn't even a real.
No. That wasn't
a guess. That was.
It was a real thing, but I wasn't
It
sold on it.
was such a
guess.
guess. Yeah, that's called a guess. That's called a guess. I'm not sold on it. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Can I give you percentage of what I felt?
Okay, give me a percentage.
70,
Yeah,
30.
that's a
I
guess.
thought it was good.
That's what that is.
That's not a
70,
guess. That's a
that's
C.
70-30 guess.
That's a C.
It's a what? A C?
That's a C.
Yeah.
If you get a 70%, that's
Yeah,
a
it's
C.
a guess.
I'll
It's a
take it.
guess. That's like
take
filling in the C's on the little fill in bubble sheets we had to do.
I did that on 80%, and I'm doing okay. 80%.
All right, man. Well, yeah, that was a cool story. Make sure, like you said, check that out. I want to get to this last story.
I also wanted to comment about how diverse the league is becoming. Just a quick comment.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool to see like the different nations represented in the NBA. Toronto obviously won the championship, so that's a team in themselves. The MVP is from Nigeria/Greece. The most important player is from Cameroon. The rookie of the year is Slovenia, and the defensive player of the year is France. Maybe other leagues should take a page out of the NBA and not necessarily start the NFL in Europe. Maybe they should just inspire people to play the game. I don't know. I think it's growing globally, and I think it's a good thing that the NBA is doing it. Other leagues should take note.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can go ahead.
All right, man. So this leads me to our feel-good story. I mean, that was a feel-good story in itself. I mean, an immigrant coming over and winning the I mean, to be honest, that's probably a better story than this one. This is more of just like a kind of a fun one. So we titled this episode this for a reason, and this is the reason right here. 103-year-old Julia Hurricane Hawkins. You heard of Julia Hurricane Hawkins? You ever heard of her?
I have, but she gets by so fast.
I know. She's flying, man. She wins gold in the 100-meter dash. Absolutely incredible. Julia Hawkins, get ready for this, is the oldest female competitor in the U.S. Senior Games. The oldest. She won two gold medals, one in the 50-meter and one in the 100-meter dash. This took place at the 2019 Senior Games in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I can't believe I couldn't say that.
Albuquerque.
Hawkins.
Dude, of course this took place at Albuquerque, New Mexico, is all I have to
where
say.
else is this going to take place? If they do it up in the north, they're going to, not be able to do it.
Yeah. Perhaps Wichita in the summer.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wichita in the summer. Hawkins didn't even begin her running career until, Tyler, guess what age she started running?
I'm going to say 83.
No. Higher.
Higher?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
She really saved it for this point. She knew her market. I'm going to say 95.
No. Higher.
Dude, 100.
100. She started running.
So she's broken the record 3 times, and it's been her own record.
Her own record 3 times. Hawkins didn't even begin her running career until the age 100, saying that she, and I quote, thought it'd be neat to run 100 and do the 100-yard dash. She did pick up cycling in her later years, so she is a cyclist as well. She is now the oldest female competitor. National Senior Games Association confirms it. Last year, the Hurricane set a world record for the 100-meter in her age group, but finished slightly slower this year, according to the record books. So I don't know how that works. They said that she set another record. Oh, it's because of her age. So because of her age, she's continuously breaking her own record, if that makes sense. So you're the oldest, fastest runner. Does that make sense? So if you're the oldest,
it makes sense.
So technically, she's beating her record. So if she runs again next year, no matter how slow she is competitively to her original number, she'll still break her record for the oldest, fastest person.
Well,
Right.
good for
Unless
you.
a 104-year-old comes on the scene. Hawkins also has 3 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. When she is not running, get this, she loves to spend time at her Louisiana home gardening. What an
Oh,
athlete.
wow. That's so
What an athlete.
dude. Athlete and a green thumb.
Yeah.
Wow.
Her advice to fellow late blooming runners, all right, and I quote, realize you can still be doing it at this kind of an age. That's what she says. Realize you can still be doing it at this kind of an age. I just keep busy. I keep moving. I don't do any exercises particularly. I used to, but I don't think I need to anymore. What an athlete. When you're 100, this is now I got to say I'm having fun with this, but this is actually a really awesome quote that she says. When you're 103, every day is a miracle. And that's an actual quote from her, which I mean, that's a really awesome quote. Tyler,
She's damn right. It's a miracle. no offense to her, but she's right.
all right, so Tyler,
It's a blessing.
take in consideration her age, okay? I can't tell you
Yeah.
when she was born because it doesn't say. She graduated from Louisiana State University. She's an alumni. What
LSU.
She's
a corn dog.
What year did she graduate? And here, I'll help you out. It's between the years of 1930 and 1945.
She
Yeah.
graduated in 1942.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't want to play this game right now.
1938 is when she graduated college. Incredible.
Oh,
1938.
bless her heart.
That's before my grandparents were born.
That's after my grandparents were born. One of my grandmothers.
It's incredible. And then she finishes off her quote by saying, "I just keep getting up and I'm here again."
She does life better than I do life.
She really does.
Yeah.
She's
And she has the best. She has the best quotes. I just keep getting up and
here I am. So they asked her if she'll be running again next year. Hawkins said, "You never know." She goes, "I'm glad I won 2 gold medals. It's awe-inspiring to me to be able to do this." And that's kind of where it ends there. So, I mean, her life didn't end. I got to be careful with my words. Her life didn't. She still, this is like a feel good. So she didn't die. She's still getting up. Yeah, sorry, Miguel, you were wrong. It wasn't 1931. It was 1938. But it was a pretty good guess. Hurricane Hawkins is a transgender athlete. Rumor has it she transitioned at 100 years old. Anyways, yeah, so that's a great story. 103 years old. Pretty awesome stuff. Tyler, are you going to live to 103? I mean,
I don't know.
dude, if you
know.
look at her pictures too, she doesn't. I mean, she looks old. Don't get me wrong. She looks old.
Yeah. But she doesn't not 100.
But she doesn't look like 103. Yeah. She does not look like.
I've never seen 100. I've never seen 100-year-old person smile that big.
Never. I've never seen it.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Never. That's a legit gold medal, though. That gold medal is
And
sweet.
I don't know if I've ever physically seen a 100-year-old person standing. I've seen a 100-year-old person before.
I've seen a couple stand. I can see them standing. Yeah. I mean, the way I eat, I probably won't last 103. I guarantee that. But
I mean, chicken nuggets, man. We
so yeah,
get some chicken.
if you ever want to check out one,
No time wasting.
oh my gosh, man, there's so many things we used to eat so much. Like we used to eat wings like on platters, like just massive platters. I still eat chicken wings the way you taught me though. I mean, I can't stop. They're so good. So if you want, go check out this video, a 103-year-old runner. That's literally all you got to search. Just search 103-year-old runner. It will come up. You can see her spectacular hurricane skills as she dashes down, dash is a bad word, as she's lightning fast down the track. It's pretty fun to watch. And then you see all the other ladies, running behind her because she's actually like quite a ways in front of them. She's getting it, man. I don't know if it's a technique that she's learned or something, but yeah.
I don't know.
Miguel says she doesn't look a day over 97.
Nah,
She doesn't, Miguel. She really doesn't.
I think Miguel likes her.
I think he does too. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Another episode of 60 Minute Suspension is now in the books. That means that you can go watch it on YouTube after this recording, or you can listen to it on Spotify and check us out there. A lot of fun content there as well. And man, just don't miss out on everything that we're doing here. We're expanding. We're trying to get bigger. And Amplified Network's got a lot coming. So make sure that you stay involved with that. For us here, we are good and Gucci. Tyler, any last words?
Just want to say, check me out on theturfsports.com. That's www.theturfsports.com. Check out all of us over there. We have a great selection of things, something to kind of catch all of your interest. Trying to maybe get my boy Miguel on, seeing if he can. He's been commentating a lot, so if you heard us shout out Miguel, also maybe look for him on the Turf Sports soon. I don't know, maybe. Anyways. Yeah, so check me out there. Check us out as always on YouTube, Facebook Live. You can. We'd love it if you listen to us on Spotify. We'd really like it if you check us out on Twitch as well. So yeah, until next week, keep it real.
Yep. We will see you guys next week. See you guys. Peace.